What's been your most difficult customer or client to deal with?
I'm only going to speak on it a little bit in case they watch it and they guess that it's them.
Mate, jeez.
Okay, a client?
So many. Oh my god.
I can't remember. Sorry.
Oh my god. The one who refused to pay me?
Oh man, they'll probably see this.
Difficult client. I don't have to say a name, I just have to explain.
No, I mean, you can say what you want. If you want to
I
call
want
them
to
out,
pay
you
them
know.
money out, but out them.
I don't know, I see the good in people all the time, but I kind of miss the red flags and the traits where they might not be as hungry as I am, they might not be willing to work as hard as I'm willing to work. You can't have that with friends because you've developed such a friendship with them that everything's okay, you know? Whatever happens, everything's okay. And with business, that's not really okay.
I think if I describe the characters of what a most difficult client is someone who doesn't know what they want. That is so jarring because it's always kind of like, just like do something and like, let me see. But I know that you're gonna see it and you're gonna want X, Y, and Z.
So if it's a client that refuses to kind of take advice or feels they know best, that can be difficult to work with.
And people who don't communicate, that is very, very, very jarring because it slows everything down, it slows your process down, you can't get the work done.
And it's the clients that are unappreciated. Yeah, about the kind of work you put in or the ideas you're putting across to them.
What kind of customer in business I've had to deal with? A customer that says yes that means no, and says no that means it doesn't turn up when you're meant to turn up, or doesn't take action on things that you teach them. So those kind of people are very unteachable. They're very it's very difficult to work with them because you're talking to them, they think they know everything.
You don't count. Most difficult client was, we had a gentleman who came to us who was quite, should we say, arrogant. I don't even know why he actually came to us really, because everything that we talked about, he was either already doing it or he knew how to do it, and he had no scope to actually take in any other suggestions. And it's really hard to work with someone who's got a closed mind like that.
I think it's the clients that want the most for the least. But I had clients who would call me literally every single day just to make sure that the project was going correctly and the drawings were being done and stuff like that. And that can be a bit of a stress when we just had impossible deadlines.
I think there's two people that come to mind.
Yeah, they're definitely the same ones I'm
and
thinking
they're
about.
both people that have just asked us to rewrite things multiple times. And I think, again, great learning curves, because they are, because I wouldn't say they're people that would have been like, oh, we'll never work with them again.
No,
I think it's just organising how we deal with clients, being like, okay, we want to get involved at this stage of the project. This is what we can do for you. And I think also stopping back and forth as much, just getting stuff done in the studio with people so you can get their feedback instantly rather than being like...
He's a bit like myself. He's an actor and he wants to do film directing as well. So he wrote a script and he's come to us and said, you know, he wanted us to be the videographers and, you know, do a bit of directing for his project. But he's just very complicated to work with. You know, me and Josh, my business partner, we're here saying, look, this is how it should be. You know, you want to get to the point quicker. And he doesn't listen. And he just, it takes about half an hour to explain it to the guy. But he just wants to do loads of research, reshoots, and just makes life very difficult for us.
You could say something without
Go and train, mate.
Yeah, I was kind of brought in because I do run a business and I was doing content creation marketing for people. And you know what? I ended up packing it in because I was just like, I fucking hate working with customers. Like, I absolutely hate it. I hate the dance you have to play with people. I dislike the way that you're constantly having to adhere to their needs. You're constantly undervalued, you're constantly underappreciated. And I got quite bitter towards the end of it, I'm not gonna lie.
Sometimes you have what you call a nightmare client, and when you get experienced enough and you don't really need the money that bad, you also have to choose who you turn away as much as who you bring in. And yeah, that experience was scary.
It's someone who wants everything for free. and are not prepared to invest in themselves. Simple as that.
Do you have many of those kind of people come to you?
We used to when we first started in business, because we would be helping the sick and the injured. Now we've actually looked at who our avatar is, our ideal client, and that's who we go after, all right? That's who we can really help successfully. And the people that are prepared to invest in themselves, we can actually invest in them as well.
Drunk customers, they're pretty bad. Drunk, I've been threatened. Someone put down a knife on me a couple of times. Luckily, I knew how to defend myself, both physically and on the emotional level as well.
I had this one client who constantly used to pick up on my language. He's a British, gentleman in his 60s, and he used to correct every word I say. And I remember I used to come to his office a bit, stressed out. I felt like, what's gonna happen now? He's gonna pick up on me again. I didn't feel myself.
Okay, I said Jordan, because Jordan is like me. We are very, he's like my reflection. What?
Who's Jordan?
He's my husband, my partner. What?
Keep going, it's alright.
He shows me the parts of me that I need to work on most, and challenges me to see myself in the times where I don't want to see myself.
A client of mine, we started out really good together. I was supposed to write a sales page and a funnel for a book, and it was really difficult to be able to communicate around the launch time. And I was there on call whenever I had to be, but then she blamed me when the sales didn't come through, but she actually ignored my advice about the offer itself. So I was basically just following blindly what she said, which was a mistake on my part because I didn't have much of a backbone. I was honest about the whole situation. I could have been a lot more spiteful about it. I was like, look, I've done the work, I've done what you asked, and etc., etc. And I kept pointing back to the thing that we mutually agreed on. Unfortunately, she did manage to, come up with the funding, but I thought it was a little bit irresponsible that, to hire a contractor and not actually have the funds to pay.
What we do, is we teach little babies how to swim and float, and for some of them, it's the first time going into a course. So parents are very scared and sensitive and afraid of giving to you the baby. You have to be very aware of the feelings and the emotion, not just about the child, but the parents. Just this, but we don't have difficult customers. We're so lucky.
In our showcase in 2017, we booked the venue and we booked it until 2, and the contract said till 2 a.m. in the morning. And what the idea was at 12 o'clock the showcase would finish, and then from 12 to 2 would be the after party, like an after party kind of thing. But on the flyers, we put the showcase was 12 a.m. and we didn't put anything about the after party because we didn't want to promote that. We didn't want people to just turn up to the after party. We wanted people to come to the showcase. And it was about 12:15, and then the owner starts turning off the lights, and we're like, mid-show. And we're like, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, well, it's 12 a.m, show's over. And I was like, well, we've got it till 2. And he said, well, on your flyers, it says 12 a.m. And we're like, well, look at the contract, it says 2 a.m. And he's like, well, I've sent us the bar staff home now. So if you're not done in 10 minutes, we're turning off the lights and going home. And we had to wrap up this is a competition. People have flown in from we had people from Czech Republic, from Sweden, and we couldn't do the big announcement of the big winners at the end. We just had to quickly rush. Yeah, the winners are such and such. See you later, good night. And it really messed us up.
It was somebody who wanted to have something specific. He wanted to meet, he wanted to have a partner. So we were working around that, but whenever anything came around, he said, no, actually he wanted his wife, which was, she's passed away, so that's what he wanted back. So in the end, what we did is we did something else. We worked on his environment, we worked on creating a beautiful home for him, and we did some interior design together. So it turned out all right in the end.
I did have several difficult clients, but you can't say clients, it was a specific person. And one of them was in Aberdeen, and he was up his ass person who was speaking different Scottish accents every morning. And for me, every morning going to work, I really needed to wake up my brain, but also half an hour until I get used to the Scottish accent. And the guy didn't help me at all. And at some point I had to really have like a really nice conversation with him to say, listen, I speak 6 different languages and I can speak 6 different languages with you. I don't think you're gonna understand anything, but making jokes with someone else in the room in whatever dialect you want to use from the small villages around Aberdeen, it's fun for you guys. I don't understand, therefore from now on, if you speak this kind of jokes in language which I don't understand, then I'm gonna just swap to, I don't know, whatever language I decide. So he kind of stopped.
There has been a product that someone had ordered one time. It took longer than planned for it to arrive. That then made the customer very upset, which is terrible. But in that, it triggered me to have to deal with a customer from a position where it was my fault as a business. It was supposed to come on time, it didn't come on time. They're very upset, so it put me on a path where I had to learn how to communicate and manage customers and make sure you do things on time as well.
The worst thing this client has done is just, you know, it's, there's a word for it. Sorry, I should know the word. But no, not even. See, this is the sad thing, right? So we keep saying, you know, he's the worst client, but the only reason why he's the worst client is because he goes into it thinking he knows everything. The thing is, we can see he's passionate about this project. He wants it made, fair enough. Again, he's paying us, again, a lot of money to do it, right? Figures he just doesn't know. He doesn't know, you know, he didn't know that films were cut. Like, you know, how you shoot something, you shoot the other side, then you cut together. He didn't know that. And we're like, me and Brandon were looking at each other like, what? He barely knew what the director, you know, the purpose of a director. He didn't know, you know, things like that. He didn't know. I was like, this is your job. You're the director, you know, you've got to sort of do this, you know. And
I was doing some marketing consultancy for a firm, and they just really didn't sort of know. They made a couple of assumptions and gave me direction on who to target to execute this online campaign. And I kind of disagreed that that was their target audience because they'd made a few assumptions without doing any market testing. And they spent a lot of money with not much conversion, and they wanted to sort of blame the execution of the campaign, but I felt it was the money we were spending to acquire that small pot of customers was the low conversion rate as the end result. And yeah, that was a tricky time.
And one parent wasn't happy about the advice we gave back to her child and thought we were singling her child out, but we was literally giving advice that any other dance teacher would give to this child. And yeah, she just made it a problem and then tried to tell the other mums, so the other mums would want to up and leave, but it didn't quite work.
There was one that came to mind. It was a lady who I introduced the tenant to her. Basically, the tenant hadn't necessarily passed all the checks and everything. And then we said, you know, actually, let's cancel the deal. But because she was so hungry for the money, she went ahead with the deal. And then it turns out that these people just basically weren't who they said they were. I kept telling her, don't take any money from these people. Go there with the police the same day and essentially get the situation sorted out there and then, don't take any money. But she was like, oh, well, you know, I think I can make it work. And now 4 or 5 years later, these people are taking over her house and she can't get it back. And I learned very quickly how to qualify tenants and stop wasting people's time. I think at the beginning, I was probably a little bit more ambitious and just bring anyone to go and see a house.
Most difficult client I've had is one who doesn't sign on time. So they've lacked our pitch that we've come in with. They've lacked what we're going to deliver, but not really willing to sign for what we require to deliver at an excellent level. So that meaning, you know, we've come in the doors, given them what we've done. We've actually produced prototypes for them, which is part of our resource and time, but they've not signed on the dotted line.
There's an expectation on the services that you kind of deliver. And then they're not paying you for anything, but they're expecting the world to come from you. And it's just like, just being patient, to be fair.
How do you avoid your deal?
Customers tend to always be right. So if they're paying me, yeah, cool. Do you know what I mean? I'll do what you need me to do, but I might disagree with them in terms of the output.
Breathe. I like to think I have a normal mind, you know, very calm mind.
So when you breathe, you get back to that state, and it's all good.
I don't quite like saying my staff because it just sounds really pompous, and I haven't, I have a few people that work with me, and I say to them, our worst customer always becomes our best customer, and it's because of how you treat them. If you treat them right and you just be patient and you answer their question and try and make it right, their complaint, they will become your best customer, and it happens 100% of the time.
Not to be disclosed. I don't want the tax man off me.